There is a person right now living in your head rent-free. You haven't spoken to them in months, maybe years, but you've replayed the thing they did to you hundreds of times. You've rehearsed what you'd say if you saw them. You've imagined their apology. You've imagined your own dignity in receiving it. And they don't even know. The person who hurt you has moved on. You are the only one still in the room. Today we're going to talk about why forgiveness is the hardest psychological act a human being can perform, and why the most psychologically sophisticated figure in recorded history, whatever you believe, about him understood this long before modern therapy did. Most people think forgiveness is about the other person. It's not. That's the first lie we've been told. The second lie is that forgiveness means what happened was okay, that the hurt wasn't real, that you're letting them off the hook, that somehow your suffering gets erased the moment you say the words. Neither of those is true. And the fact that we've confused forgiveness with weakness, or mercy, or amnesia, is exactly why almost no one actually achieves it. Here's what's actually happening psychologically when you refuse to forgive someone. Your brain has tagged that person and the memory of what they did as an unresolved threat. And the human nervous system has one rule about unresolved threats. It doesn't let them go. It circles back again and again, not because you're weak, because you're wired for survival. The mind returns to open wounds the way a tongue returns to a broken tooth, compulsively, not because it enjoys the pain, but because it's searching for resolution that never came. You are not holding on to anger. The anger is holding on to you because your nervous system believes the threat is still open. And here's the cruel irony. The angrier you stay, the more you feel like you're protecting yourself. You built a monument to the wound, and now you live inside it. Now, here's where it gets psychologically darker. Because holding on to the grievance doesn't just feel protective. Over time, it becomes identity. Think about it. What happens when someone has been betrayed by a business partner, cheated on by a spouse, abandoned by a parent, and they've carried that story for 5, 10, 15 years? That story becomes how they explain themselves to the world, and more dangerously, to themselves. I'm the person who was wronged. I don't trust easily because of what was done to me. I am careful, guarded, smart, because I've been burned. The grievance becomes the architecture of the self. To forgive would mean dismantling the story, and we would rather remain in pain than lose the narrative that explains who we are. This is not weakness. This is not stupidity. This is one of the most human things there is. The ego, your psychological sense of self, does not surrender its organizing stories without a fight, even if those stories are slowly poisoning you. Psychologists call this a secondary gain. The wound pays dividends. It gives you an excuse, a reason, a shield, a story. And as long as the wound is open, the person who caused it remains in your internal world, guilty, convicted, in debt to you. Forgiveness would mean releasing that debt. And releasing debt, even emotional debt, feels like loss. Now let's bring in something that most people miss entirely. When Jesus said, "Forgive them, for they know not what they do," he didn't say it from safety. He said it while being executed, in agony, publicly humiliated, abandoned by his closest friends. You can debate the theology all you want, but the psychological observation here is extraordinary. Here is a man, in the most powerless position imaginable, making the most powerful psychological move available to him, releasing the claim. Forgiveness in that frame is not surrender. It is the only act that the world cannot take from you. Here's what most of us miss about power dynamics. When someone wrongs you, they take something from you: trust, time, money, dignity, love. And the natural response is to feel owed, to wait for the world to correct the imbalance, to hold out for justice. But in most situations, the world doesn't correct it. The apology doesn't come. The court of public opinion doesn't rule in your favor. The person who hurt you does not lie awake at night the way you do. And while you wait for a reckoning that may never arrive, they are living their life, free. And you are the prisoner of an unresolved verdict. The person with the actual power in that dynamic, the one who stopped waiting. This is why forgiveness is talked about in every serious wisdom tradition on earth, not as a moral nicety, but as a survival mechanism for the psyche. Buddhism calls it releasing attachment. Stoics called it returning to what you can control. Jesus called it something that sounded simple and was anything but. They all understood something modern psychology is only now quantifying. Unforgiveness is a chronic stress state. It elevates cortisol. It disrupts sleep. It narrows cognitive bandwidth. It keeps the nervous system in a low-grade war it cannot win. You are not punishing them by staying angry. You are punishing yourself, slowly, invisibly, with scientific precision. So here's the part nobody tells you. Genuine forgiveness, the kind that actually works, has almost nothing to do with the other person. You don't need their remorse. You don't need their apology. You don't need them to admit what they did. You don't need them to suffer proportionally to the damage they caused you. Real forgiveness is a unilateral act. You do it alone, in private, often in grief. You are not forgiving what they did. You are releasing your own nervous system from the contract of waiting for justice. And this is why it's so hard, because it requires you to grieve the debt, to accept that the ledger will never balance, that the apology may never come, that the world is structurally indifferent to your wound, and to proceed anyway, to build your future on top of an unfair past. That is not weakness. That is one of the most sophisticated psychological operations a human being can attempt. Most people never do it. They dress it up in righteousness. I just have high standards, or in strategy. I'm just protecting myself, or in wisdom. Fool me once. All of these can be true. And all of them can also be a disguise for the thing underneath, an ungrieved loss that you're still refusing to let be final. So what does this actually look like in practice for someone who is ambitious, self-aware, and still carrying something they know is slowing them down? Shift 1. Stop asking if they deserve it. Forgiveness is not a verdict on their character. It's a decision about your own internal architecture. The question is not, do they deserve to be forgiven? The question is, does this grievance deserve to be the organizing principle of my inner life? Usually the answer is no. Shift 2. Distinguish closure from resolution. You will probably never have closure in the cinematic sense. The moment where they break down, admit everything, and you both walk away transformed, that's a movie. In real life, resolution is quieter. It's when you can recall what happened and feel something more like sad understanding than active rage. That's not forgiveness as a destination. It's forgiveness as a direction. Shift 3. Understand the difference between forgiveness and reconciliation. You can forgive someone fully, release the internal debt completely, and never speak to them again. Never trust them again. Never allow them access to you again. These are separate decisions. Forgiveness is internal. Reconciliation is optional. Confusing them is what keeps people stuck. They think forgiving means reopening the door. It doesn't. You can close the door, lock it, and still put down the anger. I'll leave you with this. The most dangerous place in the world to live is the past. Not because the past wasn't real, it was. Not because the pain wasn't legitimate, it was. But because the past is the only place in time where nothing can ever change. And if you build your identity there, you are choosing a home that can never be renovated. Jesus forgave from a cross. Not because it was easy. Not because those people earned it. But because, and this is the part that doesn't get preached enough, he understood something about the human soul that we are still learning. The person who cannot forgive is not free. They are chained to the moment of the wound, dragging it forward through every new relationship, every new opportunity, every new version of themselves that tries to emerge. Freedom doesn't begin when the world treats you fairly. It begins when you stop requiring it to. The heaviest thing you will ever carry is not grief. It is the refusal to put it down. That's the work. It was always the work, and almost no one does it, which is exactly why it changes everything when you do. The heaviest thing you will ever carry is the refusal to put it down.